So, hello and welcome to another episode of Kiara's Tech Adventures. So, this is the start of my little coding series, which will be for beginners by a beginner. For the first few videos, I'll be introducing the different languages and parts that you can learn, or will probably have to learn, depending on what you will want to make. So, this video will be about HTML and CSS. HTML will be needed if you want to do any web projects, and CSS is used with HTML, so I'll be covering that a bit in this video as well. So, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and CSS stands for Cascading Styling Sheets. HTML makes up what you see on a web page. So this stuff here, this is all HTML, and CSS basically styles the HTML. So this big grey thing behind this is made by CSS. So HTML is debatably a good place for beginners to start because it is quite easy to pick up. It does get a bit more complicated when you start using stuff like JavaScript libraries because you will have to add things in the HTML to make them do what you want, but that will be covered probably in another video because that is way too much to get into at the moment. So as you can see here, this is what HTML looks like. This here is the code that generates this page here. So let's start off with a button. If we just start typing the start tag for a button, which is button, close it off, and there's the end tag. So in HTML, you'll always need a start tag and an end tag. So any text that we write in the middle will be what is displayed on the button. If we save here and then we refresh the page, we should see our button there. Now obviously these buttons look a lot nicer than our little button, and that is because they have CSS on them. So CSS is a real pain to do yourself. So what we usually use is Twitter Bootstrap. So in our project in MVC, Twitter Bootstrap is always included pretty much, so you never need to add it yourself, but if you do need to go get it, it will be on the Twitter Bootstrap website where you can just download it and add it to your project. Now to use Twitter Bootstrap, you need to use classes. So this class here basically means that this part here spans 4 columns, yes it is columns, in the grid. So the way the Bootstrap works is there is 12 columns in a grid, and medium basically means if the screen is a medium-sized screen, it will take 4 columns in that grid. To learn more about Twitter Bootstrap, they do have a lot on their website about all the classes that you can use, what they do, how to use them, etc. So if you obviously want to get into CSS, and well, obviously if you don't want to get into CSS and use Twitter Bootstrap instead, go on their website and have a look at the classes there. So if we add the class form control to our button, whoops, we just save it, and then we refresh our page. So our button does look a bit better, but obviously it spans too far, so we can just fix that later. But this was just a little introduction to the things that you can do with CSS and HTML. So what I find with HTML and CSS at least, it isn't necessary to sit there and just learn it like you would C++ and Java. So a bit of knowledge on how to actually write HTML and how to use classes within HTML to use Twitter Bootstrap is sufficient enough to actually get going and do your own web pages. You'll obviously need to use Google to help you along the way, but honestly I think that you probably won't need to put as much time in to learn HTML and CSS as you would other languages, as it is pretty simple. But if you guys would like a more in-depth video on how to do HTML and CSS, let me know in the comments and I will do so. So if you like this video, give it a like. If you want to see more videos like this, give me a subscribe. My voice is going a bit funny at the moment, sorry. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.